I'm a petty ass bitch, so the level of petty that the Chinese vendors are exuding right now is soothing my soul. I almost feel satiated. I almost feel like I need to step up my own level of petty. What the fuck do you mean a Birkin bag is $38,000 in store, $1,400 out the factory?
Hello from China. Let me show you the United States products in my home. Nothing. Do you have something from China in your home?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they will be taking this app away from us. Why you say that? That Chinese man came on here and said, these are all the things I have in my house from America. Now, what do you have in your house from China? He ate with that. He ate us up with that. And another man came on here and said, what y'all need to do is start a revolution. He said, they shipped all y'all jobs over to China for cheap labor. And he said, did we make money off of it? Yeah, we sure did. But you know what we did with the money? We actually helped our people. We actually built infrastructure. We actually made housing affordable. We gave them healthcare. And what did y'all get? Nothing. They've been on here eating us up. That man also said the American government is doing that to y'all because y'all allow it. When they get in that briefing room and they start talking about all these posts that China is making on TikTok, airing their dirty laundry out, yeah, go ahead. They're gonna say, see, that Chinese communist app gots to go. Gots to go. They're gonna take it. They're gonna take it.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right. So guys, there's been a trade war going on between America and China, and what this has exposed, and quite frankly, I feel like TikTok always exposes a lot, because right now Americans and Chinese can get to mingle
information
exactly
about each country without any barrier necessarily being there. And it is rumored that Chinese citizens have had access to TikTok this week, most importantly because of the tariffs and because they wanted to push sales onto America, hoping that Americans will be their next big clients after they stop buying from American made.
Right. And it's not a secret that in America they have a huge consumerism habit. They really purchase a lot, and that's a market anybody would really, quite frankly, want to have.
Right. But that being said, guys, let's listen to how Black Americans react to the videos that have been going around on TikTok, because this week more than ever, we also have met a lot of TikTokers from China who are pushing products into Africa and America alike.
Most importantly, talking about the differences in price and how it's exaggerated in the Western country. But guys, let's watch and then you come back and talk about it. Kindly let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here. Let's watch.
A lot of people are going to be like, well, duh, everybody knows that you're paying for the name. But my thing is, for what? If the vendors just told us that you could get this bag out of the factory, $1,400, probably a little bit more, but still, why would I pay $38,000? Or why would I be jealous, envious, or feeling some sort of shame at the status of my life because I don't have $38,000 to spend on a bag that they didn't have to spend $38,000 on either? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the Chinese vendors just crashed the fashion stock market, if you will, because the whole point of a Birkin is that they are handcrafted. It takes like 18 hours. It's supposed to be artesian, high quality level craftsmanship, and the production, everybody can't get one. That was the whole point. But if we just figured out who your fucking vendors are, because the vendors were like, hey, it's us, and now we know how much it costs to actually make your bag, and now we can just buy that bag out of the factory without the name. What is now the point in the Birkin? What makes it an investment? It's a $50,000 bag sitting in your closet, and now we have it for $3,000. Why would I spend $50,000 on a bag that costs $3,000? Not only did the vendors giving us a price breakdown kind of diminish the allure behind the bags, I also feel like it's the same concept with an iPhone. Every year y'all sell us something new, more expensive, but it's the same shit and probably less quality, because as time goes on and we keep using more and more non-renewable resources, the quality of the shit that we have is going to diminish as well. So just thinking about the quality of the leather in the past, it was probably better, just to be, practical and realistic. So in that sense, why would I overpay for something when I know I can get the same exact quality in this thing?
Who are the suppliers behind Salomon, Timberland, New Balance, Adidas, Nike, la 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 la? First, Baocheng Factory, one of the world's largest OEM sports shoe manufacturer. It is like a Foxconn in the shoemaking industry. During its heyday, it has over 100,000 employees in just one of its factory in Dongguan. What even surprised me is that it owns an independent brand called YY Sport. It's like a distributor for sports shoes like Nike and Adidas, same as like Locker in America and JD Sports in England.
So I'm guessing it's safe to say that China is currently winning this trade war. And all y'all motherfuckers that be out here when I was talking about reps and retail are the same fucking thing because they're coming from the same fucking place out there in China. Y'all thought I was crazy. Y'all said I was making shit up. See all those fake talking points that we've been using since the Cold War, about child labor, sweat. They don't do that shit. That's not how that shit work over there. It's not. But, good old American propaganda, American exceptionalism. We just think we're the best over here. The whole time, we really the ones living in sweatshops. And it all got exposed to the average American when they did this TikTok shutdown. And everybody flocked to Red App, and we saw how bad we were living in poverty over here. They got high-speed rails, affordable clothes, affordable fucking food. You know what I'm saying? The affordable housing. Whole time, we over here struggling in the slums. Then we over here going band for band on this trade shit. And we losing. Because they've been doing it. They've been preparing for this moment for decades, bro. They've been aligning themselves with the global south to replace our American consumerism so they could take the brunt of this bullshit, and it's working. They're literally flying goods into Vietnam in order to avoid the tariffs because and they're getting their goods brought into Vietnam and then flying them from there to China to avoid some of that tariff shit. They have the logistical supply chain and manufacturing means to take the brunt of this shit and come out on the positive end of what we can know. So America's been, bullying people for the longest. It's not working right now. Then look what they did with I Show Speed. That's how they're getting the younger generation to see like, okay, we're not that bad. They got I Show Speed to come out there to China and basically give them free promotion for like about 10 days. I think he used that 10-day visa-free shopping thing that they're offering, people to come out there and just buy stuff and see China. So we're losing socially, we're losing culturally, we're losing economically. The last thing that you can do is go to war. I'm telling you, it's coming, bro. They've literally eradicated poverty, damn near. I think 90% of their population is in the middle class. But then you got Americans that'll say like, oh, well, middle class for them is like $15,000 a year. Yeah, but when their rent is like $200, you know what I'm saying? Their food is like $1. Like, what are we really doing here? You know what I'm saying? They can live a comfortable middle class life on $17,000 to $43,000 out there. Meanwhile, you got people in America making well over 6 figures and live paycheck to paycheck. See, but that's what happens when you have unchecked capitalism and you allow corporate entities and CEOs to take over and, basically suck everything dry from the middle class, aka Reagan. This is when all it started, Reagan. Meanwhile, in China, their focus is the people. This is not vouching for them or any of that. It's just noticing the stark difference in between letting corporate greed and the dollar run a country versus people who care and understand the importance of supporting the people to get what you want.
China. I did not know Chinese people could be this petty. I see Chinese people and I'm like, they're very cutesy, they're very demure, they're very mindful. But Uncle Trump, you have pressed the wrong button. I don't know what you have done. I don't know what's going on, okay? So this is a novice ass. I have no idea. This is me watching from TikTok. But I don't know what's going on at the moment. But one thing for sure, I am loving the way Chinese people are being petty. I did not know you guys could be this petty. No, I don't know if you guys have stumbled across China FYP or Chinese FYP, this war going on between China and America at the moment. I am loving it. I'm loving the way they're spilling all the beans. Chinese people are spilling a lot. Don't come for my British ass. Actually, I'm not British, I'm Nigerian. Don't come for my Nigerian ass.
So while everybody's excited about learning about these Chinese manufacturers and these vendors, there's something very important that everybody needs to know. And as y'all can see, I do not gatekeep. I lived in China for years across 2 cities and traveled to well over a dozen cities in China. And while I am all for us fighting the power against American capitalism and the overall cost that a lot of folks have been paying for some of their favorite products from some of their favorite brands, recognize that a lot of these vendors are set up for brand, meaning that they are looking to provide services to people that need a multitude of products. What does that mean? A lot of these vendors are going to require something that is called an MOQ, which means minimum order quantity. So while you may want to just order your favorite athleisure outfit or maybe 2 or 3, they are going to be looking for people that are looking to buy 100, 500, 1,000 of a product. Now, if you're going to places like the Yellow app, you're able to buy one of your favorite style of shoe, jewelry, bag, and other types of apparel. So don't get discouraged, because this is also a time where small business can go up. You can become the neighborhood dollar store. You can become the neighborhood hair lady or beauty supply store. You could be the one-stop shop for school supplies. So if that means pulling the resources that you have or asking family, friends, associates to come in with you, this could be potentially the time to cut out the big man and be the man.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section, right? You know, as I said in the beginning, I feel like this trade war and whatever that has been happening recently, it has really exposed the Western countries, more so America, because this is not the first incident that Chinese nationals are forced to open the eyes of Americans. You remember the thing with the TikTok when
it was getting banned, and then a lot of people all of a sudden were jumping onto the new app. It wasn't new in China, but it was new to Americans and the world, called Red Note. And when they got onto that app, they saw how easy, affordable, not easy, because no life is ever easy, right? They saw how affordable life was in China, and the good quality and their Medicare, how good it was compared to America.
Right. And guys, let me just remind you of the person who talked about, there was a lady who was talking about how a luxury bag goes for, like a Birkin bag goes for $50,000, and I'm like,
that's a lot of money. You mean, guys?
I'm speaking because maybe I'm speaking from a point of view where I've never touched that kind of money. But I'm like, there's somebody in the world right now who
who's
decides
carrying
to
a piece of bag that is enough to buy me a whole house, 3-bedroom bungalow in Africa, and I would never pay rent a day in my life. Guys, if you have that 50,000
and you're watching, you can just do something
and then
there on our PayPal button, because like it's just a handbag for you,
Anyway, on a serious note, you guys, $50,000.
Yeah, in Kenyan shillings.
Money in Kenyan shillings, that is
6.4 million, and it's not just 6.4 flat; it's 6.4 million and something on top.
Shillings on top.
Yeah,
that money is more than enough, like on a serious note, to literally buy you a house, a home, a good, beautiful, decent home.
Right, but somebody is carrying a house on their hands, Anyway, that has exposed things, and it has people asking right now, because there's also videos of some people who are talking about buying just like a simple piece of slide sandals, or like just shoes. You buy shoes, and just because it's a brand name, you buy it at such
$400. Guys, do you know $400 is someone's salary?
True.
Salary in Kenya. Let me convert $400 for you guys. You buy slides like slippers worth $400,
but it has been established that
is 51,000 Kenyan shillings. The amount of things I could do without. Guys, this is me.
You can't help calculating and converting.
These figures that are being spoken here for clothes and food,
shoes,
clothes and shoes and handbags. It's so unreal.
Yeah, so people right now are coming to the realization that apparently these people who are buying these brands, because China has exposed that it's not even original to the people who brand them. They also outsource them and put the brand name there, so people are literally buying the brand name and not the quality, right?
And most especially this week, the thing that has has been predominant about this whole issue is how Black Americans are really, applauding Chinese for being petty because they didn't know Chinese people could be this petty.
Right.
Because normally they're just chill people. You don't hear much from their side of the world unless it's necessary. And I'm guessing it's also because they're not allowed. I don't know if they're not allowed, but I'll assume they're not allowed to be on social media apps like Facebook and Instagram because it's blocked in some parts of their country.
Right.
They have their own socials, right?
Right.
What I understand.
But apparently people think that America won't win this trade war because already China already went and spread out its wings.
And seeds. Like to some degree, people are saying they were providing a guarantee in case this deal fails, they have somewhere else
to be quite honest, I feel like that was quite clever because if you've been living under the thumb of a bully for so long, any little thing you do, you've been sanctioned. Any little thing you do, they raise your tariffs. Any little thing you do, so you have to literally live by their own rules for you to be able to survive. So countries like China, I feel like a lot of other countries should learn from the countries like China, because they got themselves to such a wild stage where they can no longer be ignored.
They can no longer be ignored. You'd like to ignore them, but you can't ignore them because they're like right there in your face. Right? And then speaking of that, the Chinese man who was wearing yellow, when he said there is nothing made in America in his home, yet if you go to American households, and you ask them how many Chinese made in China products they have.
Like right now, I don't know if we have a made in America. This is made in China. It's a battery.
Here in our country, there's a lot of made in China items.
Made in China. I'm trying to find something that's made in America.
Even our cables made in China. Our chargers, even phones, man. Phones are made in China.
Yeah.
Even shoes. A lot of it are made in China.
So you can see what China has been
and US, but mostly made in China.
Yeah, so you can see what China has been doing, because let's compare this. Yeah, right now China can be able to sit down and say, okay, when America is trying to bully us, we are going to be fighting back. So sanction me, I'll sanction you. Impose tariffs on a tariff increase on us, we're gonna do the same. You see, so they have the same muscle to pull some strings,
Right, and that is something that any other countries, especially African countries, cannot do. When America sanctions African countries,
they become humble.
Mostly African countries humble themselves. And as an African, I am often forced to ask myself, how did China become such a powerful force that they produce everything in-house? You
have to start.
In Africa we have raw materials, but we don't produce everything in-house. We have to outsource companies from abroad to come and mine those raw materials in order to produce for us and then sell it back to us.
Yeah, and you can see where China has gotten itself to such a place where you can literally, it's a big deal when they go toe to toe with America.
Yeah,
but guys, there's
just like, damn.
Yeah, there's a situation that has been happening where the president of Namibia, the new female president of Namibia, recently elected, she decided to deport 500 Americans. That's a huge number. And these are Americans. American citizens used to, I can tell you, be treated in
liberties.
They used to enjoy some special.
You just whoop up that
American passport.
or you don't even need to whoop up that passport.
Just the American
alone was enough to get you
privileges. Yeah. But right now it's not enough to be American. It's not enough to hold an American passport, and neither is it enough.
Tariff wars.
Right. Neither is it enough for you to be holding a dollar. Right now it doesn't matter. So the president of Namibia also decided to fight back. She was like, if Africans are not being allowed into America freely, then why should Americans be allowed in Namibia freely? So she imposed a visa restrictions for Americans and those ones who are in the country without facing deportation, 500 of them. But I feel like Donald Trump, where he is at, is like, I got more important issues to do with, No, I'm just saying, he's feeling he has more important issues to deal with. And who's keeping him busy? China. So where Namibia is, if we could have a lot of plenty Namibia in Africa, then maybe Trump would pay attention. You know what I'm saying?
But it starts with one leader and then spreads to others. You see, it started with Ibrahim Traore. Right now, it will spread to the Senegalese president who was, what's his name? Fayo Mayo, the Senegalese president,
Right.
he also followed Ibrahim Traore's suit, and he gathered some guts, you know. And right now we are seeing the Namibian president do the same. So
I wonder when Kenya, when that
things like that.
But it wouldn't be with our current president. Kenya would never, because you know what he is. So maybe if we could get another president who's not looking like an implant for the West,
but
you
in
know.
Kenya, not anytime soon. Every political leader right now in Kenya, they're just looking out for their families and what they can grab from the government before their term ends. So for the next 10-20 years, Kenya is...
Okay, they already had a celebration at White House for the president of Kenya, and the president of Kenya, like a good boy, sent some soldiers over to Haiti. So right now
we are in a bad relationship with Haitians, the Haitian citizens, because they feel like
we digressed, guys.
Oh.
Let's come back to the topic. I don't know, final words, Maureen.
Oh, yeah, me, what I'd like to say, also I've had a lot of speakers who are speaking, and most of them are saying, let's remember, even if we want to support China and stick it up to the, you know, we should also remember that Chinese people, some of the products they're using, it's not free, number one, and number two, they're exploiting some parts of Africa in order to get those raw materials. So at the end of it, we should remember the most important thing, even if you're promoting, remember where it comes from.
Right, and also those people, the Chinese, their own citizens don't look like they're... Okay, the way they've managed to be cocooned, and, you know, so some people are feeling like they don't feel like Chinese citizens really have that, they're exercising that kind of freedom, you know, because of them being locked out of these social apps and them having their own little cocooned spaces, you know.
Society.
Yeah, but anyway, that is all we're gonna say, guys. Let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. We had fun doing this one, and we'll catch you on our next, right?
Right.